What's up, everybody? JH put some good out in the world. It wouldn't let me type all that in there on what I wanted to say on some stuff, but hope everybody can hear me good. And never know how far these videos go. You never know if you're gonna, help somebody not go to prison or help somebody stay away from jail, prison, jail. In Kentucky, they got both. You go to jail, then you go to prison, depending on your charges. So in Kentucky, you can serve up to 10 years in jail. Uh, there's no guarantee of that, but usually they ship you off to what's called the Rotary Farm, and the Rotary Farm is intake. That's where you get your number. That's where you get your classification. That's where they do all that shit. Could take 2 weeks, could take 6 months before they ship you out of this big ass. It's a prison, but it's got a jail inside the prison. You're locked in dorms, like A B C D E F G H I J K, and then L M. That's as far as I went. I think I went to M. That's on the lower tier. I might be wrong. I might have went to L on the lower building. It's been years ago. It's been since 2014. But anyway, this video ain't about that. This video is about the first time I ever been locked up in jail in my life. Now, this would be back in 2009. Early 2009. I was 18 technically. I was getting ready to turn 19 in months to come, but I was actually 18 years old when I first went to jail, or I might have been 19, just turned 19. I can't really remember that, so that's why I put 19 on the title. But anyway, so if anybody tells you they're not scared the first time you get locked up, they're a liar. Straight up. Any man that says I had no fear of the unknown most likely is lying. The only way you're not is if maybe you've been there before, maybe you already know what to expect, but your first time, you're scared. You don't know what to expect. You don't know what's going to happen on the other side of that door. You don't know what's waiting on you on the other side of that door. There's killers in jail that are awaiting trial. They don't know what they did. There's people in there trying to beat murder cases. People in there that already sentenced, just ain't been shipped yet. For life, that know they ain't got nothing to lose in jail. These are the people you're in there with. You might have a burglary charge. You might have a receiving stolen property like I did. I had a second-degree burglary, receiving stolen property, and a wanton endangerment. Little bitty charges compared to these other people. I would end up later on taking 10 years and doing my bit. I would end up getting in trouble later on, but we'll get to those stories later. If this is liked, we'll do more stories on stuff later. I'll upgrade things. I'll do stuff a little different. But I hope y'all can hear me. That's the thing. I'm not really sure how loud I need to talk because the camera's up here and I'm back here, but your first day in jail, especially if you had an addiction like I did the first time I went to jail, I was addicted to my grandparents got fentanyl patches, and fentanyl patches was opiate, but it was like coming off that is probably the most. I would put it in the top 5 worst things to withdraw from. For sure, top 5. And they used to come in jail. They come in 100 Jeragesic is what I was on, the 100 Jeragesic patches. And you're talking, almost 20 years ago now. But, I'm 36 now, getting ready to be 36 in November. But you're talking years ago, I actually cleaned up my life. I own my own property now, my own house. I got a pay lake that I lease. It's first year taking off. You always gonna have haters on stuff like that. Anytime you're doing good, somebody's gonna hate on you no matter what you do. I don't care if you've been clean and sober for 40 years. Somebody's gonna hate on you. Most likely gonna be an ex-wife or something like that. They're going to turn your kids against you. They're going to do it all because I've had it done to me personally. But that's a video for another time as well. Anyway, back to the story of the first time of being locked up, right? So I'm 18, 19 years old, and I'm going to Round County, Kentucky. At that time, Morgan County housed Round County inmates, and I'm going to jail for assault charges. And I'm going to explain the assault charges. So what happened was, me and my grandparents, the people that was giving me the drugs, had got into it. I was in withdrawals and stuff, and we had got into argument, altercation, and my grandpa had hit me with a stick, a cane. He didn't use a cane or nothing like that at that time. He wasn't in bad health like he's a bigger dude, but he had swung, hit me with that. All I did was defend myself, you know what I'm saying? Like pushing them off of me, defending myself. But I got charged with that because they was supposedly elderly. You know what I'm saying? Like they was innocent in the law's eyes. I was beat down, like I was beat up, and then my dad at the time, I still call him my dad. I love him, don't get me wrong, but we don't have no relationship. I have a biological father that's still alive, but he has nothing to do with me, and that's not lying. Every now and then he'll call, he might call a handful of times a year, or text, a handful of times a year, and most of the time that's like birthday, Christmas, like a holiday, or my other little girl. I got 3 kids. The other 2 kids, like I said, was turned against me by their mother and him, to come to find out in court. But that's story, like I said, for another time as well. But I'm not going to do these videos real long right now because I haven't figured out how to do a video, then upload it. So I'm having to do lives at this point. But I will figure it out later on. Somebody can help me in the comments. Somebody can tell me how to do it and all that. And I'll do it. I might have to do it from my phone and then upload it onto YouTube that way. But right now I'm doing it from the computer, and there's nobody in here, so I don't know if y'all can actually hear me. But anyway, there's a lot of prison videos. There's a lot of prison things, but there's different rules, different politics, different everything in every state. Okay? I have been to jail from Johnson County, Kentucky, and I have been shipped all the way to Western Kentucky and Fulton County. Okay? And anybody knows anything about Kentucky can tell you that. I've been to Three Forks Jail, Johnson County Jail, Round County Jail, Fulton County Jail. Those are the 4 jails that I've experienced. And Montgomery County Jail, 5 jails. Those are the 5 jails I've experienced. Um, but Montgomery County Jail, I never made it to population. I had bond because it was just some petty shit. I actually got into it with an officer, and it should have been a lawsuit because he got me for disorderly because I was taking up for my elderly uncle. But anyway, that's a story for another time as well, if y'all like this video. But I have a lot of stories for you guys. I have a lot of prison stuff, and it should keep you. I'm not glorifying prison, not one whatsoever. But look, Jay Williams, Let's Live Life. Shout out to him. Shout out to After Prison Show. Those YouTubers there actually gave me the confidence to speak about what happened and stuff about what happened in my experiences. Now, I have done videos in the past of experiences on that and done stuff without success, and this might be the same as well. I don't know. But it's going to be true, it's going to be real, it's going to be honest, so let's get into it. So, first time I get arrested, like I said, they arrested me. It was for fourth-degree assault, I think, because there was no injuries to them. I had all the injuries, like I said. But, so, there's going to be people in the comments say, oh, yeah, blah, 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 you lying. I'm not lying. It's on the paperwork. I got it. Whatever. It is what it is. I go to jail as a kid, and I'm withdrawing off these things. So, I go in there, and I've heard so many stories over my life, so many bad things about jail, so I'm expecting the worst. That's not what ends up happening. The first time I went to jail, I knew almost everybody in there. From the streets, everybody liked me. I got along with everybody, I didn't cause no problems. My grandfather, Jackie Wright, God rest his soul, he passed away in 2013, January 23rd, 2013. He would end up being locked up with me at this time. I gave him my bunk. I slept on the floor beside him. So he had one leg, so I had to I didn't want nobody picking on him, so I gave him my bottom bunk, and I'd done that. But if you're usually elderly like that, there'll be somebody try to take advantage of you. But the first time I got locked up, I had not experienced that. Because like I said, I got along. I minded my own business. I didn't gamble. I didn't do none of that. I didn't get no commissary. None of that stuff. I would end up doing 4 months, 120 days. And my papa would get out. He done 4 months as well. I would get 120 days, and what I didn't know was that it was just unsupervised probation. But my father had pushed for me to go to a rehab. So I went to Crossville, Tennessee. I went from Kentucky to the farthest I ever been away from my family. Done really well in there. I done really good in there. Treated people good. They kicked me out after 6 months for letting 2 people smoke in a non-restricted area that told on me. I let them smoke and they told on me. And they kicked me out. And there was people in there that got kicked out that I would find out I was being kicked out at the same time, that the reason they kicked me out was they was making an example of people because they was counselors sleeping with the girls' side, all this and that, and they got caught. So they would make an example out of them, and I ended up getting caught up at the same time with that smoking violation. They just got rid of all of us. Well, after that happens, I'm scared to death on the Greyhound bus riding back to Richmond, Kentucky. Richmond, Kentucky. That's where the Greyhound bus, they gave me a bus ticket, took me to the bus station, dropped me off, boom, gone. So, all the way there, I'm nervous. I'm thinking I violated my probation. I'm going back to jail. That's the first thing I thought I had to complete it. I didn't have to do it at all. Come to find out. But that's okay, though. You know, it kept me out of trouble longer, whatever. And I kind of sometimes I wish they would have kept me longer, and I wished I could have been able to at least completed that, you know, because I don't like to fail at much. I like to complete what I start. So, Dad would pick me up at the Greyhound station in the middle of the night, toward earlier in the morning, he'd pick me up, take me to the house. We'd go to the courthouse the next day, explain what happened, and they would just put me on unsupervised probation and give me a fine, and that would go on. And I'd go on to live my life. So I moved back in with my mom and papa at that time. I had nowhere else to go. So, I stayed with my dad, I think, just for a small period of time, and then like I said, we couldn't get along, so I went to. No, I did not do that at that moment. I actually went to the neighbor who lives right beside my father, and ended up meeting the girl who would eventually become my wife and my baby mama. So, I meet her. Been gone for a long time, whatever. Only with her for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and we break up. And I quit my job. I didn't want to see her no more. So I went to my mama and papa's, moved on with my life. So I'd be talking to other girls and stuff, and then my mama would knock on my door one night and say, "Hey, Jay, you got a phone call?" I was like, all right. So I got the phone, and it would ultimately be my baby mama. She says, "I'm pregnant. It's yours. Come and get me. I'm in Mount Sterling, Kentucky. I don't want to be here." So I go get her. I go to this guy's house. He comes home. I'm getting her shit. I'm making sure he ain't saying nothing. I'm getting her shit out, and we roll out. So, we broke into the house to get her stuff because that's where she was living. It wasn't breaking in, but she didn't have a key. She left work early, and he knew what she was getting ready to do. So I meet her at the apartment, and that's what happens. I didn't know she was going to do that, but she, stuck her hand through the little plexiglass thing, opened the door, let herself in, got her shit. I put it in the car, and I'm standing beside the car, and I'm waiting on, if he says anything, I'm taking off on it. But nothing ever happens. He was didn't want to fight type person, so is what it is. She would end up telling me some stories later on. We'll get into that later on too. But anyways, back to first getting locked up. So, you're not supposed to horseplay and stuff like that, because I saw that lead to a lot of fights. Horseplaying leads to fights. But at this particular moment in time in jail, 2009, it did not. It did not lead to fighting. Everybody in this cell, for some reason, it was a double max cell that you had you had to come through 2 doors to get to the dorm, and then your cell was in that door, 2-man cells. So you was behind actually 3 doors before the cops could get to you. So they would have to, do that. But during the day, they would lock us out into what we called the day room, and we ended up calling it Peter Beach, is what we'd end up calling it. So they would lock us out in the day room, and I would put my bunk up against my cell door, not my bunk, but my mat up against my cell door. And my bunkie would be over beside me. We both put it up against the cell door, and until so far as after lunch, they popped the cells and we could run freely, back and forth from the day room. But early in the morning, they would make us come out of our cell. So there was this one black guy in there that I remember. He got in trouble in Moorhead, got held up for a bunch of dope. I think he's out now. I'm not real sure. Shout out to you if you are. He was from Florida, and this was back whenever they was running Perk 30s, 15s, and stuff from Florida to Kentucky. It's well known. I'm not telling on nothing. They stopped all that shit. Now in Florida, some places got pillbillies go home and all that shit on the doctors, all that shit. But he got hemmed up for something like that. So this homeboy of mine, wasn't really a homeboy, it's somebody I knew from where I lived, ends up getting this big roll of toilet paper. And this black dude is huge. Huge. When I say huge, like a linebacker for the 49ers. He's probably 6'8", 9", and big. So, and he's got big long dreads, and boy named Curtis gets this big roll of toilet paper while that dude's sleeping. Boom! Bangs it off his head. Lays down, acts like nothing happened. This dude gets up and is fucking flipping out, irate. I'm thinking, we all gonna have to fight this dude, is what I'm thinking. So I'm just laying there chill. I'm like I didn't see nothing, like I'm watching TV. He's hollering, shouting. I'm watching TV, and the dude that did it was under the TV on a poker table, on a steel table, steel picnic table. And he was on the other steel picnic table. So we had two steel picnic tables in that day room. And the TV was right by the bathroom and the shower and stuff like that. And that's where that boy was at that threw that roll of toilet paper and hit that black dude in the head with it. So nothing happens. He don't own up to it because he knows what's going to happen. It's going to take 4 or 5 people to get this big black dude beat up. And, it's a very racist part of where I'm at, like it is. It just is. Back then, it was especially, it was just bad. Not speaking, other places is not, but in Eastern Kentucky at that time, people was just bad. I'm not racist unless you're like that toward me, and I don't like people that are. I don't fool people that are. I just don't believe that you should. Everybody's the same. We all believe the same, and hey, all lives matter. Not just black, white. All lives matter. So I'm one of them type people, but I'll be honest with you. I would tell you the truth. There's a difference between different types of people. You get a bunch together and it's all bad. You get one, it's all good. It's quiet, and it's all good. But if it goes any further than that, it's loud. So boom, after I'm not sick no more, I hit my routine with working out and stuff like that. And we're getting all this stuff. Then some more people that I know come in. A guy who's dating my sister come in. Real piece of shit. A real piece of shit. That was dating my middle sister at the time. My youngest sister, she wasn't. I mean, she was probably dating and stuff, but she wasn't really old at that much old at the time. I think in 2009 she was 13, 14, somewhere around in there. She was born in 96, so 2009, I guess she was 13, 14. Yeah, so somewhere around in there. Um, but anyway, the first time that I go jail, it's not a bad experience. It wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting the worst, and that's not what happened. Now, the next story, the next time I tell you, and dudes was bringing in, at that time, they cut out smoking and stuff, so people was bringing back stuff from court. They was smoking dip. They was smoking tobacco. They was smoking any kind of tobacco, any nicotine. They was smoking. And other things, whatever, blah, blah, go to court, get what you need, whatever, Whatever guys was doing, they was putting it in their old prison purse and rolling back with it. So, I wouldn't do that because I was like, nah, I'm not getting caught, because the jailer would let you smoke or dip or whatever they had at the time. If they didn't have cigarettes, they probably had dip. So you could dip on the way backwards and forwards from court. You could smoke or chew. So one of those was going into the jail, automatic. And whatever they got from hugging their family, kissing their wife, whatever the case may be, when you got final sentence, you was allowed to do that at that time. And they stopped that, of course, in Morgan County. But anyway, so life would go on, and my first jail experience was not bad. I seen some fights, but I seen some scumbag shit first. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't all about that hands and all about, come on, let's get it, let's do this, let's do that. It was all about more or less laid back and respectful, except for that one thing that sticks out when he threw that roll of toilet paper at that black dude. And he didn't own up for it neither. But the black dude would ultimately, he was cool, He was a cool dude. He got commissary, stuff like that. Like, he was actually a good dude. So after that incident, nothing else happened. During the 4 months I would stay there, except for my papa would come in with some dumbass charges that he got when he was drunk. Not speaking ill of the dead or nothing. I love you, Papa. I still do. But anyway, that's a story for another time. And I'm going to end the live here. And if anybody knows how to I'll probably do it on my phone. Just try to make a video and then post it and do that. See what happens. But I love you guys. Let's live life. Stay real. Keep out of jail, prison, everything. All the dope that you're on. If anybody's on dope, you need somebody to talk to, hey, I'll talk to you. You know what I mean? I know what that life feels like. But I know what it feels like to be good in life as well. To have your soul not just good, but just feel good in general. But I love you guys. And I hope you like this video. And I hope I see a lot of likes. And I hope you want to see it again. Peace out. Live life.